Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It's lovely to have you here. Welcome to Virginia City, Montana. Now, there's lots of people around, so I'm not talking too loudly, and I don't want any drama. So we have the no drama llama on. Hi, Catherine. Can I just check how's the sound? Hi, Diane. Nice to see you. Everyone here? Hey, Ruth. Shalom. Everyone can hear me okay? Yep. Hey, Chloe. Hi, nice to see you there. It's good to see everyone. So, I am in. Hi, Joanne. Nice to see you. Hi, Lynn. Hi there. Oh, is Mary Lou here? Mary Lou, hi. It's we will do a catch up. Hey, Karen. Nice to see you. So, I am here in real frontier land, and I'm in Montana. Hey, Donna. Nice to see you. MB's here. So, they apparently can drink in public here. Who knew? Terry and Jolene are here. See, so many people that I love. So it's nice to have you all here. I have to tell you, I have beautiful weather. We have beautiful weather. I am with just a just an enthusiastic, fun group of people. If you haven't met me before, I think we're on time. If by chance you haven't met me before, my name is Patrick Toomey. I'm going to keep this quite tight because my dear friend Elizabeth, like personal close friend, down in Arequipa, Peru, hi Anna Marie, is doing a tour. And I did message her and I said I couldn't start this tour earlier because of driving down the road. But this is a place that I want to have immortalized. Hey Joel, good to see you, buddy. Um, but if you could all join Elizabeth after, that would be wonderful too, because she's down in Arequipa, Peru. I don't know where her tour is. So thank you. And I want to get into where we are, but yes, it is Finn Toomey's birthday today. Now, Finn Toomey happens to be the offspring of Patrick Toomey, and his wonderful, wonderful mother. Um, Finn is 17 years old today, and I just talked to him on the phone. I told him to try and sign on. He's having a day with his friends, and he's 17. And he's nearly as tall as me, and he is a gorgeous, gorgeous human being. Paul, hey there. How are you starting? Well, good, Joel. Hey, Mary Beth. So many of you, well, a few of you here on board know my kid, and our only job as a parent is to love your children, right? Like that's your role. It just so happens that my kid is also really, fantastic kid. I love him deeply, and happy birthday to my little Finn. And hopefully he can watch the replay of this. So we are in Virginia City. This was the capital of Montana once upon a time. I keep telling my group the population is 172, but just before this trip, I Googled it and it's saying 212. So there you go. We're in a valley. So just to give you a sense of where I was, I was in Missoula. So Montana is huge, right? Fourth biggest state in the United States. Hey, Elise, nice to see you. Fourth biggest state, and it's got this big curve at the bottom. So that's where I am. I obviously live in the Canadian Rockies. We came down through Glacier Park and down to Missoula, and we've come down through population boom, no kidding. We've come down through Butte, which was the richest hill on earth, and that is copper mining. And then down around this bend in the bottom here. From here, I'm going to drive up over a hill to a town called Ennis, which is a gorgeous town, and then along the Madison, which is the river that flows out of Yellowstone. So it kind of gives you a sense where I am. Now, this was true frontier town. Of course, like everything, there's a deep underside. A lot of this were people from the Confederate States that didn't want to end enslavement and so forth. So, the big history, but it's gold mining. And driving in here, I get to talk all about placer mining. What is placer mining? Well, that's where the guy is with the pan or the woman with the pan, and you shake it out because gold is 19 times heavier than water. It settles to the bottom, hits the base rock, so you find gold. So how do you then go after it? Well, what you do next is you build these huge dredge units. You put these huge pistons in the ground, burn a cord of wood every 15 minutes. You pull them forward, the dredge goes into the ground, pulls it up, and then you're sluicing down the system. But in case you've ever wondered, as we say, it all comes out in the wash. Well, what is the wash? The wash is the final sifting where you find the flakes of gold. So that's the history of where we are here and gold mining. Oh, I have a couple of people coming up. Do you want to come say hi? We're doing a live presentation. Hi. Yeah, see, there's people from all over the world. But incidentally, and this will be recorded forever, so we can talk about it or not.
Oh,
But there is a book. Well, Rick and I have been friends for years, but he's the driver of my group here. So
best tour
they're making that up. They just because I make
Some of the jokes are
the jokes are all made up. But these are all the people I met during, of course, the pandemic where I shut down. I did once do a live tour here a long time ago. No, last year I guess. And now, of course, we're here. So I wanted to keep something for perpetuity, and I will be back here. So I will send a link out on my Facebook page about your book. And no, you're welcome. But also, I'm glad from a genuine scholar to say the information that I'm making up is not fake. And Ruth is saying hi from Israel. Well, no. I think we all have a similar sort of value system, so that's what matters, right? So, see, these are the kind of people I travel with, and this makes my world better. So, all right, are you ready, everyone? So I'm standing on a. I got more of them. Gents, this is live, so if you want to say anything, it's your fault. This gentleman once won the 100 meters. He beat his wife. So,
and I was born in Japan. So.
yeah, arigato gozaimasu. So, let me show you what a real true frontier town looks like. So here we are. I'm so happy to have you all joining here. So I've come. So Butte, Montana is about an hour and a quarter this way. Look at that sky, everyone. This is called Big Sky Country for a reason. You always know you're in a mining town when you see these false facades and buildings, or as my southern friends call them, facades. You always know you're in that kind of thing because they built the front and the most functional back as you possibly could on the building because you didn't expect it to last. Uh, so it really is one street. So if we're 220 people now, there is down in the end is a saloon and the opera house. And these gorgeous hills, but this land has been turned up and over many, many times. And it is done so because, of course, they're looking for gold. Now, if you invest a step further, so you start with your wood facades, like these fabulous buildings here, right? Then you move on to a slightly more ornate building. And you can see the chimney up there on the left. That's how, of course, you would have heated. The classic mining house always has a small slanted roof at the back. That's off the kitchen, and that's because your stove, which is heated by wood, will share the heat up to the house. But all of a sudden, there's some sandstone. And the minute you have sandstone, you know that there's some intention for the community to be a long, permanent town. So check this out here, the Montana Post, and then down to the left, the back, which I think is a museum now, but obviously was religious at one point, and they built it with stone. So that's the great transition you have in these communities. Now, in around here, we're obviously in the, well, it's the fourth biggest state in the union, but it's only 1.1 million people, wide and vast. So a big truck about to come through. And look at this. Yeah, let's let that pass. Look at this really cool road up there to a house. These ladies are from Georgia. Hello, ladies. And now this building looks like it's struggling a bit, but it's a place. I mean, I always feel I have to detour to come here. I cannot come through southern Montana and not share. This is exactly the image. If you had an image of the Wild West, it's this, right? Um, Mary Lou, I'm totally with you. I love these towns. I'm always reticent because this was also a group of segregationists. There's all that kind of history as well. But setting aside, and I cannot set aside that history, so I shouldn't. But it's important to acknowledge that these communities as well, all this stuff was built by people with no formal education. So there's the Pioneer beer bar. I have a beer in my hand, and this is where I went in, and I got a beer here, and there they are. There's all the animals up on the walls. But check this out: gold dust is the common currency, right? Um, Joanne, that's a great question. Um, opera is a misnomer, for sure. I wouldn't. There is a speed limit for sure. I expect it's 35 miles an hour. People are super respectful in these kind of towns. I was here last year. Yep, yep. I do come here on and off. I did one trip here, and I'm so glad to share it with everyone. And of course, such a gorgeous day. It's sort of a perfect temperature. The only reason I have my light jacket on is I just forgot when I carried it off the bus, so I don't really need it. Look at that, tea and scandal at the bank, which is pretty cool. Um, I'm really tempted to turn around and go to the bar, but we'll have a look at Bartlett's Blacksmith Shop right here. So 1863, 1864, and the amount of money in the West. And the old stories go with all these fancy hotels and everything that were built up in these places. You could rent an apartment in New York City for $5 a month in the 1860s. And out here, it would cost you $5 a night. Now, this great movement of people through this part of the world, of course, led up to what became Dawson City, and of course the Yukon Gold Rush, and eventually Alaskan Gold Rush. But this is Montana on steroids. Check it out, gorgeous houses up in the distance. Ruth, it's a great question. Ruth is asking whether tourism is the mainstay. It certainly would be for these months of the year, but in fact, the whole community was falling into disrepair years ago, and it was one couple set about getting the whole thing protected. Look at this gentleman here. You don't get more Montana than that. And I'm willing to bet that if you broke down, he would do anything in his power to help you out. I like to believe that. So I would think that the rest of the year is still ranching and farming, pretty big. Check this out. I'm going to try and I can't quite walk in the middle of the street because there's a few cars coming down. But yeah, straight out here, if I went out the other side, you would see all the tilings or the tillings from the gold mining, and they're still mining. So they're hitting the bedrock. Of course, gold is 19 times heavier than water. We know we're no longer in the Canadian Rockies because you have gold down around this part of the world. And gold is, of course, it settles down because it's a significant and it's easily identifiable. And so that's how they started scraping up. So gold is what tells the story of so many communities out here in the American West and, frankly, Turtle Island and South America, all these parts of the world. It plays such a big role. Um, so it is pretty cool. So why don't we just wander up? I can see my bus up the top of the road, but it's nice to show this with everyone. And it's funny, every one of these places is worth sharing. This lady is bringing her baby down. I'm not trying to put a camera in her face, so yeah. There you go. The road agent's German fair up there. Incidentally, in this particular group, I have a woman who was a German teacher for her career. I think she's retired, and her husband is Israeli, and they met on a kibbutz, which is pretty cool. So here's the old courthouse up here on the right. So check that out. And of course, early justice was pretty random in the American West and the Canadian West and all over. The sidewalk, Karen, the sidewalks are wooden. It is. It's authentic. And I'm good with this town because it's not kind of fake authentic. Pamela, your uncle lives in Ennis? So, Pamela, if I could have had time, but I'm going to have to drive through Ennis, it's going to take us about 15 minutes to get up to Ennis. 15, 20, right up over those hills in the distance. Ennis is one of the most attractive towns that I can think of. Of course, this is all fly fishing part of the world. And I always find that a little disappointing because every time I've caught a fly, I haven't been able to fillet it. I'm sorry, that's kind of an embarrassing little joke. But have a look at this. So here we are. at the Madison Courthouse here. Um, isn't it lovely to have connections? Oh, this is, Cindy, this is as Wild West as you get. Um, but once again, and I meant this, I obviously did a little Facebook Live the other morning, but when I was there in Browning, obviously Browning is not as obviously beautiful, reservation and the challenges. But once again, people are so sort of warm and friendly. There's an Episcopal church up here, which I would call, I guess, Anglican or Church of England. But you see that they obviously meant for this to be permanent. You get a little bit of Victorian architecture up here on the left. Thanks, Grace. It's, it's obviously just it's a short tour that I wanted to share with everyone. I am heading up to West Yellowstone. My goal will be to put on a tour in Yellowstone tomorrow. Again, it'll be a very last minute affair. I did one last year with our dear friend Aisha, who I feel guilty I haven't left a message yet, but I will. And hopefully the streaming works, because I'm a little worried about that. Look at this lovely architecture. There is your classic Victorian wealthy architecture. These are people who did well during the gold rush. No, ça fait plaisir. Ground settling, so it's pretty cool. But I Grace, don't go to work. Retirement's way better. By the way, I'm not doing very everyone, but I just want to say, I think I'm back. Obviously, going around the courthouse has messed everything up, so I believe I'm back. No, I think it was on my end. It suddenly went red up top. What I was just telling you about was I don't think you've got it, but they were the winning lottery numbers for tomorrow, and I can't remember them now. So I'm sorry about that, but I'm back. I don't know how long I was gone for. Unfortunately, I was showing you that I haven't done very well with my beer, but I did go up top and I took all my clothes off for the walk because it's so hot. But I can't do anything better than that at the moment. But I went up. It's probably because I went near the church. So just a minute. So. All right, everyone. Well, listen, ladies and gentlemen, it is lovely to have such a big crowd here. Thank you so much for coming and joining me. Thank you to my friend Ruth, who put everything out there, because I said, I sent her a message saying I can put the tour out, but I'm not sure about my reception. So I appreciate so many of you joining me. If you're able to make a contribution, that's great. And if not, of course, that's just fine as well. Do watch. I will try and put a tour up for tomorrow in Yellowstone. Now, I'm going to be back in Yellowstone quite a lot this year, and so I might test and see what the reception is like. So, and everyone give a hug, please, to my friend Mary Beth, just because she's my friend and we've been talking. So listen, we always like to end, because it's better, to create a hook. The sky is fantastic, but let me curve around here. Look at that sky up there. I think we're going to get a storm a little bit later. Diane, it's so nice to see you. So I first want to say peace and love. Now, in the early days, right, and we always finish with something to keep you hanging on, right, because you really need to always wait till the end of these tours to understand what's happening. But in the early days, in communities like this, there were people who had to earn livings in all sorts of different ways. Now, my great-grandmother was not in this community, but a town that was quite similar. And what she used to do, because there were